opened these steakhouses around the world. He opened up a steakhouse in Venezuela.
I mean, to charge those prices, you've got to have
tater tots.
I think people would pay $500 just to see him go in and do the.
They single-handedly ruined Gold Leaf for me in
Look.
his restaurant suite.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I know the specials. He's gonna give us the meat.
There's a certain kind of rise that captivates the world, the type that's fast, flashy, and almost too good to be true. But what happens when that meteoric ascent is built more on spectacle than substance? When style overshadows substance, and the pursuit of fame overtakes the passion that started it all? Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of how Nusret Gökçe, better known to millions as Salt Bae, went from internet icon to a figure slowly fading into the background. From butcher's apprentice to global meme, Salt Bae's journey didn't begin in luxury or wealth. Born in the small Turkish village of Pasla, Nusret's childhood was anything but glamorous. His father worked in the mines, but even with long hours and hard labor, the family struggled financially. By the age of 13, Nusret had to leave school and start working in a butcher shop in Istanbul. It wasn't just a part-time gig, this was a grueling 13-hour-a-day grind, 7 days a week. There were no vacations, no weekends off, just endless repetition in a cold, demanding environment. Still, Nusret didn't let that early hardship define him. In 2007, armed with a $3,400 bank loan, he took a leap of faith, traveling across several countries to study the world of high-end steakhouses and butchery. For 3 years, he immersed himself in the craft, returning to Turkey with a sharpened skill set and a dream. In 2010, he opened his first restaurant, a small spot with just 8 tables and a modest staff. But word spread quickly, especially after Turkish billionaire Ferit Şahenk took notice and invested in Nusret's budding business. That investment helped expand his brand across Turkey and the Middle East. By the end of 2016, Nusret's restaurants were already successful, but everything changed in January 2017. The viral moment that changed everything. On January 7, 2017, Nusret posted a video online that would transform his life. In it, he dramatically sliced a steak and sprinkled salt down his forearm onto the meat, all while dressed in a tight white shirt and sunglasses. The video was short, but its impact was massive. The internet exploded with the now famous Salt Bae meme, and Nusret became an overnight sensation. His signature move was mimicked across the world. Celebrities, athletes, and influencers all joined the trend. He became a regular fixture on social media timelines, late-night TV skits, and even professional sports celebrations. Suddenly, Salt Bae wasn't just a chef, he was a global icon. The viral fame was unlike anything the food world had seen in years, and he knew how to capitalize on it. Building an empire of gold. After becoming a meme, Nusret turned Salt Bae into a full-blown brand. He opened restaurants in some of the world's most prestigious cities, including New York and London, and turned his steakhouses into elite destinations for the rich, famous, and curious. These weren't just regular restaurants, they were designed to dazzle. Menu items came with eye-watering prices: $100 for a burger, $10 for a can of Red Bull, $25 for dessert, and the showstopper, a $1,800 gold-coated tomahawk steak. Guests weren't just paying for food, they were paying for an experience, a chance to see Salt Bae himself perform his signature moves at their table. For a while, it worked. Celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio and David Beckham made appearances, and Salt Bae's Instagram was filled with footage of luxury dining, high-profile guests, and a lifestyle that screamed wealth and influence. When spectacle overtakes substance. But behind the gold leaf and glitzy presentation, problems were brewing. His restaurants, particularly in London and New York, started attracting attention for all the wrong reasons. Reviews began pouring in, and they weren't kind. His London steakhouse quickly earned a 2.9-star rating on TripAdvisor, landing in the bottom third of all restaurants in the city. Nearly half of all reviewers gave it just 1 star, describing the food as undercooked, the service as rushed and impersonal, and the overall experience as overpriced and underwhelming. In New York, things got worse. His burger joint was labeled the worst restaurant in the city by several critics. Professional food reviewers described the dishes using phrases like rubbery and low on flavor, mundane, tough, and even public ripoff #1. Yet despite these damning reviews, Salt Bae didn't seem interested in fixing things. Instead of addressing customer complaints, he doubled down on his image. He declared himself an inspiration, saying, "Now everybody wants to be a butcher because of me. Kids want to be Salt Bae. I'm an idol." His focus shifted entirely from food to fame, and his social media reflected that shift. Shirtless videos, photos of expensive watches, and images of receipts showing customers spending over $100,000 on a meal became the norm. A dangerous turn. But even with criticism mounting, Salt Bae continued pushing the limits of his brand's spectacle. In September 2018, a fire show at one of his restaurants went terribly wrong. A stunt designed to impress guests spiraled out of control, and 4 diners were injured. Among them was Czech internet personality Tynush Treshnichkova, who suffered third-degree burns on over 35% of her body. She spent months in the hospital, and her appearance was permanently altered. Despite the severity of the incident and international headlines, Salt Bae remained silent. Just days later, controversy struck again. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife dined at Salt Bae's Istanbul restaurant during a time when Venezuela was facing a devastating food crisis. Over 64% of the population had lost an average of 25 pounds due to food shortages. Yet here was the country's leader enjoying a lavish multi-thousand-dollar meal, and Salt Bae proudly posted videos of the encounter online. The backlash was immediate and intense. Protests broke out in front of his restaurants in Miami and New York. Even U.S. Senator Marco Rubio criticized him, calling Maduro the overweight dictator of a nation where 30% of people only eat once a day. The videos were deleted, but again, no apology ever came. The cracks behind the curtain. In April 2023, a deeper look behind the curtain revealed just how chaotic and troubling the Salt Bae empire had become. Business Insider published an investigative report exposing a toxic work environment marked by fear, exploitation, and control. Former staff described Nusret as obsessed with his image, often firing employees without warning for minor mistakes. Breaking a glass or wearing the wrong shirt could cost someone their job. One manager stated, his world was nothing but Instagram and fame. He developed a godlike complex. Employees were forced to fake lines outside the restaurant to maintain appearances. During the COVID-19 pandemic, some were made to sleep overnight in the restaurant without being paid overtime. And while Salt Bae flaunted his wealth online, employees alleged he was stealing tips. Multiple lawsuits claimed that management skimmed 3% of tips or withheld them entirely, especially when celebrities were dining. A class action lawsuit stated that any waiter who complained was systematically fired. Women faced even more disturbing treatment. A bartender said she was told to wear a short skirt, high heels, and revealing top on her first day. When she refused, she was harassed by male co-workers, one of whom followed her home. After requesting a standard uniform, she was fired. Customers weren't spared either. Staff were instructed to serve cheaper cuts of meat as premium, reuse leftover wine, and falsely label non-halal meat as halal. The focus wasn't on quality, it was about extracting the maximum amount of money from every guest. The public fall. The most public embarrassment came on December 18, 2022. Argentina had just won the FIFA World Cup, and the players were celebrating on the field. Suddenly, Salt Bae appeared, grabbing Lionel Messi and pestering him for photos. Then he took the World Cup trophy and posed with it as if he were part of the winning team. The backlash was immediate. Fans were furious. FIFA launched an investigation, and Salt Bae was banned from all future events. But the saga didn't end there. On June 1, 2025, he tried to crash the UEFA Champions League final after-party. Security kicked him out, and he was forced to sign autographs outside instead. He claimed he was just there for his thousands of fans, but most people weren't convinced. The end of an era? Today, Salt Bae's once dominant brand is in steep decline. Most of his US steakhouses have shut down. His London location has seen a 50% drop in profits, and Dubai is showing similar signs of decline. His social media engagement has plummeted, and the world seems to have moved on. So, what could have been a lasting legacy of culinary success has turned into a cautionary tale. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Salt Bae can make a comeback? Or is this truly the end of his story?